Okay, cool. So this is really exciting. Um, I guess, hi guys, this is Web3 Unleashed episode 11, I think. So we hit our big 10 episode milestone. And now, with the start of 2023, we have a really cool protocol on today. So, for those of you who don't know, we have Fabio here. He's a core dev at Push Protocol. Just to start off, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, sure. Hi, everyone. Fabio, as I said, I'm a core dev at Push Protocol, and my main responsibilities I work more on the backend side, dealing with the infrastructure for notifications and for push chat as well.
Okay. Yeah. So, this one's particularly exciting for me because basically, the first way I had heard about Push, for those of you who aren't, like, I guess, in the Web3 conference circuit, there's this event called Rave. So Aave, lending protocol, there's this huge party. Like, it's a big Rave, obviously, and it's all Twitter drops. So you have to be constantly monitoring Twitter. And I think there was one time when they started basically putting out Twitter drop notifications, I guess, on like Lens protocol and their social dApps, and notifications were being sent through you guys at the time known as EPNS, like Ethereum Push Notification Service. Um, and then now Push Protocol, but that was how I first heard about you guys. That was how I got my Rave ticket. So I'm very grateful for you to exist in a very, I guess, selfish party sense. But you guys are also doing great things for Web3 communication. So let's start off with the basics. You want to give us a quick rundown of what Push Protocol is?
Totally. Yeah, so yes, Push Protocol, we started with notifications. So yeah, we were previously EPNS. PNS stands for Ethereum Push Notification Service. So yeah, we started with notifications, and what we do is we send notifications to wallet addresses. And why would someone want to receive notifications of wallet addresses? Because in Web3, your identity is your address. And sometimes the only way you can reach out to a particular person is to their address. For example, if someone has an NFT that you like, how you have no information about this person. You don't know their Twitter or Discord or email or phone number. So how do you reach out to this person? So before there was no way. Now we're seeing Push Protocol was leading and is leading this way to okay. Now we have a way to link wallets together in a way that we can exchange notifications, we can exchange chat messages. Later on, we can exchange videos. So Push Protocol is building the communication layer for Web3. So we're taking the Web2 user experience and now we're bringing this to Web3 and tying those information to wallet addresses because in Web3, your identity is your wallet address.
Yeah. Um, Very exciting. So I guess I'm gonna skip ahead to a little bit. I was at what conference was I at? I think I was in Lisbon where I met Harsh for the first time. So Harsh is one like the founder of Push Protocol, and we had a little bit of a conversation about, Push Protocol as a public good, which I thought was like a pretty interesting angle. I was wondering if you were able to kind of elaborate on that.
Totally. Totally agree with this. For me, communication is a public good. It's not up to a protocol or company or a group of people decide what the communication Web3 looks like. I think that's the beauty of what we're building Web3. It's open protocols where the community is heavily involved in what the protocols are building. And communication is a public good. It should be open source and it should be run by the community. If there is a feature that the community feels like it's important to have in this communication protocol, where the community can simply make a PR request, a pull request, they can make proposals, they can then, it's open, anyone can simply tune their protocol, their communication protocol to their needs. Not only that's what I like the most. Like that's something that I'm very passionate about. Building something by the community for the community. And I think in Web3 we have this. And for me, communication, yeah, as like ENS and Gitcoin, I think I see communication as a public good as well. And it should be up to community to decide how communication looks like.
Yeah, yeah. No, I really am excited you guys are out there, because this layer kind of doesn't exist, maybe just to frame, like, how great I'm bad. I think I'm just gushing, like, I'm really excited to have you here. But, was it even possible to push out notifications to wallet addresses before push protocol? 'Cause I don't have, like, kind of an idea of what the space looked like before you existed.
Yeah, so push protocol for notification, we're the first. So we started push protocol before it was EPNS. It was just a hackathon project, nothing
Mm.
special. Harsh and Rita, they had the idea back in the days, back during DeFi summer, and they had this idea and they participated in a hackathon. It was just a normal project like any other hackathon project. But what's nice is they kept building after the hackathon. After the hackathon was over, they kept building and with the amazing support from the community, 2 years later, we're still here, and we no longer do notifications. Now we're doing chat, other products as well. But before push protocol, we were the first one to send notifications to wallet addresses. That's where we start, and that's something we have been doing for over a year now.
Yeah, yeah. So, I kind of you mentioned, push protocol kind of expanding, past notifications. That's how I first interacted with you guys. Can you talk a little bit about, decentralized chat? I heard you mention video, which is pretty crazy. Um,
Yeah,
yeah.
totally. So yeah, so when I joined Push, when before mainnet, I was one of the early team members to join when was EPNS. And even back then, before we launched notifications to mainnet, all the team we were already talking about all of the features that we are now able to launch, and we're like right now developing. We were already talking about this back then, but the focus we started with notifications mainly because everything we do um, in Web2, everything starts with a notification. That's something that Harsh always says, right? Everything starts with a notification. For example, it's not like I'm constantly on Gmail looking for my emails, right? I just receive a notification and okay, I have an email. Let me go to Gmail and actually take a look on my email. The same for Telegram. I'm not all day on Telegram, but I receive notifications whenever I have a Telegram message. The same for WhatsApp, Discord, or Twitter. And that's how we go by our lives. We're notifications, that's how did we get the information by notifications. So for us back then, when we were discussing this before mainnet launch, we were discussing, okay, notifications should be the first thing. Because since everything starts with notifications, notifications should be battle tested, should be scalable, should have a lot of use cases. So after a year doing these notifications, then we were like, okay, now we're ready. Notifications have been battle tested. Now let's go back to the talk that we had 1 year ago, and let's make this dream come reality. And that's where push chat came in, and we're working on push video as well. But that was the idea. Since before mainnet launch, something we were talking about a lot in the calls, especially with the dev team. But we focused on notifications, and now we're able and happy to have shipped some of those products we were dreaming years
Yeah.
ago.
Oh my god, that's really awesome. That's actually kind of wild you guys started as a hackathon project and moved forward. I'm excited. If you talk to me, I hate Discord. It's not Web3 native at all. It's horrible for all of our DAOs. If you guys can help drive, you know, the death of that, I'm pro. Maybe I'm being a little spicy here. I will, I guess, never end up working at Discord is the outcome of this call. But yeah, what do you see? Push has become really big. What do you see kind of as the main drivers of your growth thus far?
um, I think first of all, it's kind of cliche, but for push is very true. The community,
Mhm.
mainly because of our history, because we were a hackathon project, and when we are in hackathons, especially me, Harsh, and Richa, whenever we tell the community this story, it motivates a lot of hackers. They were like, "Oh well, like
Mm.
your guys are here sponsoring the hackathon, and 1 year and a half, 2 years ago, you guys were here like us." And I think a lot of hackers they love this story, and we always tell this story for hackers. We're like, hey, if you have an idea, if you didn't win anything, it doesn't matter, just keep building.
Mhm.
And I think a lot of people can relate to this. And I think, of course, the community, the only reason we have been growing a lot, the community, and for we have fortunate enough to have integrated with some amazing protocols in Web3. Pretty much most of the big protocols they have integrated push for notifications, and notifications they are only useful when they have a meaning, right? So, for
Mhm.
example, me getting a notification before I get liquidated on Nave, well, that's very important. That's a very meaningful notification, and I want to get notified about this. Or whenever there's a new proposal for my favorite DAO, that's a very useful notification, and I definitely want to get notified whenever there is a new proposal. So I think having some very nice integrations with some very amazing protocols, and also with the community, because if I send notification but there's no one on the other side listening to those notifications, the community, the notifications that they have value by itself, but people must take this value and take action based on the value, right? So I think those two sides, amazing protocols that we call them friends of push, that we have partnered with the amazing support from the community. So we have very meaningful notifications and with people that want to listen to those notifications. So it's a win-win situation. Protocol now can reach out to the users, and the users after they get notified, they take an action to vote on the proposal, put more collateral on the Lightning protocol, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, yeah, it's kind of interesting how simple of an idea you guys started at, and just like that no one kind of ever thought, "Hey, this is actually a really crucial piece, of Web3 infrastructure communication that is missing." You touched upon some cool use cases. That was my follow-up question, with, DAOs and Aave. I don't know if you had anything else you wanted to mention. Otherwise, we can kind of move forward.
Totally. I mean, what for me the beauty of push protocols that it's an open network and anyone can
Mhm.
send notifications based on their own needs. So, for example, if you're an NFT marketplace, I would love to notify my users whenever someone places a bid on their NFT. I want to sell an NFT. I want to get notified whenever someone places a bid on my NFT. So with push protocol now we can do this. So we can have this more way better UX on NFT marketplaces. So I don't have to provide my email anymore. I just put my NFT there to sell, and if people want to buy, I get notification, and I don't have to come back to the NFT marketplace all the time. For governance, I'm very passionate about DAOs. So for me,
Mhm.
getting notified whenever there's a new proposal, because me personally, I have missed a lot of proposals because I'm part of a lot of Discord channels, and I don't have time to keep scrolling down to see whenever there's a new
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
proposal. So if I just get on my phone a notification whenever there's a new proposal, for me that would be amazing. It's also nice as well for with chat along with notifications. So for example, if someone has a very nice NFT and like, hey man, how's it going? You want to sell an NFT or that's nice, let's chat. We have common interests. And now we can open a conversation and start messaging people. You can message people, even celebrities, like they have their famous ENS domains. Now you have a way to reach out to them. Of course, there is spam prevention. The protocol takes this into account, but there it is very nice for you to be able to reach out to people to their Web3 identity.
Okay. Cool. And then I think just touching back on starting as a hackathon project and growing to where you guys are, can you touch upon, some challenges you faced along this way, and then maybe something you guys anticipate in the future?
Totally. So there are a couple ones. So first of all, I think it's an amazing problem to have, and I
Mhm.
think every company and product faces this. Is a problem with scalability. That's an amazing problem to have. When people have more and more users using your protocol that you anticipated but not so soon, and that's an amazing problem to have. We had this couple months ago that we had like a very big number of notifications being sent, and we did not anticipate the sudden growth of the notifications, the load on the nodes. So this was definitely one challenge. I think other as well was because we started on Ethereum. We were Ethereum push notification service, and in the hackathon we only supported Ethereum. But now, with all these layer twos and even some out layer ones, it only makes sense to support notifications across all your identities, across all your different chains. On Polygon, I have one wallet, I have one wallet on Ethereum. Even though they can be the same address, but I can send a notification to my address on Polygon and my notification to my address on Ethereum, or in Arbitrum, or in Optimism, or in other non-EVM chains. So supporting this cross-chain communication, this was definitely one challenge as well. Um, so yeah, right now we're focusing on EVM chains, and we had to refactor some of our node code to do this, but now it supports the EVM chains. But now the next challenge is how are we going to support non-EVM chains as well? We're also working on this, but just show that back in the days when we started, we were Ethereum push notification service. Now we rebranded to push because we not only support on Ethereum, and yeah, this cross-chain communication infrastructure was definitely a challenge, and scalability as well. Support literally millions of notifications, and in a network that's being decentralized is definitely a very nice problem to work on.
Yeah. Okay, this is perfect. We had some questions on our YouTube channel. Just gonna quickly bring this up. You answered these questions right away. So, um, thanks for that. So now that we have a good kind of overview of what push is, let's get into the technical portion of it. This is a very broad question, kind of, but like, how does push make chat and notifications decentralized?
Totally. So in push protocol, we have something called push nodes. As of now, the nodes they are run by push protocol, and we have one team, one group of engineers that they are 100% focused on decentralizing this network. So the idea is we're gonna have these nodes called push. They're called push nodes, where the notification and the chat messages they are sent through this network of nodes. And eventually the community will be able to run those nodes and not only run the nodes, but they're going to get incentivized to run these nodes to also be part and to contribute to the security of the network. So that's the idea. We have a set of push nodes that we're working on decentralizing them.
Okay, cool. Um, Maybe let's just get into kind of the types of notifications that exist. I was looking at the docs. Maybe you could just give us like a brief overview of the flexibility that you guys have with how you guys send information.
Yeah, so there are three main types of notifications. First of all, is target notification. So that means that, hey, notify this wallet address here. We have a subset of notifications. That means, hey, notify this array of addresses, notify address A, B, and C, or you can say, hey, notify all the addresses. So we have those three main notification types. But now, how is those notifications are gonna be triggered? I think that's the beauty of push protocol. They can be triggered by different ways. So first, one way and the easiest way that we can touch upon later on, which is sending notifications manually. You can just go to the push dapp, click, you create a channel. A channel is the concept of a channel, one step back. If you want to send notifications to users, you must authenticate yourself into the protocol. And we call this creating a channel. And the analogy for this is the same as a YouTube channel. If you have a YouTube channel, me and as a user, I can opt in, I can subscribe to this channel so I get notified whenever they post a new video. And on push is the exact same thing. So all you have to do, you have one channel, and then how you're going to trigger the notification. You can send notifications manually via the dapp. You can set, we have JavaScript SDK, so you can start sending notifications on your own backend, on your own infrastructure. You can send on-chain notifications. You can do a smart contract call to the push contract, and then we can take this event and send the notification. You can send notification using subgraphs as well. If you have a subgraph, you just import a helper function, then we can start monitoring our subgraph and dispatch the notifications. So it's completely flexible how you're going to send the notifications. So yeah, we can send manually using your backend infrastructure, using smart contracts, and using subgraphs.
Mm, yeah. So I talked to you for too long, so I'm gonna kind of pivot to our last question, skip a few things. Um, when we were supposed to have this for the first time, so for those of you who don't know, we had to reschedule this 3 times for unforeseen circumstances, but I think 2023 is a good way to kick off, with you guys. I was promised alpha, My guess is that the alpha that you guys are gonna give me was push v 1.5. I'm assuming, right? So, would you like to give
Yeah,
some retroactive, alpha about,
totally,
the changes that have happened to push since we were supposed to
totally.
talk? Yeah.
Yeah, totally. It's something we have been working a lot on. This is push 1.5. So there are some key changes into the smart contracts, into the protocol itself. So I think the first one, I think the for an end user is the easiest to see is that before I push, if you want to create a channel so you can notify your users, you had to stake DAI. You had to stake 50 DAI. But push protocol, we have a native token. As of now, it works as a governance token, but now the push token is going to have way more utility across the protocol. And one of the utilities that we enable with this version 1.5 is in order to create a channel, now you have to stake push instead of staking DAI. So this is one change that we enabled with this version 1.5. The second one is to change to edit your channel information. Back then, before, for example, if I created a channel with my name or my channel image, my channel name, and my URL for my dapp, for example, those changes they were back then you could not edit those changes. So if you made a typo, then you would need to create another channel. Now this is completely flexible. Now you can simply go to the UI and edit your information how many times as you want. And I think third one, and probably the biggest one, that was the one that took us the most time with the development team was the concept of the FIPO. So whenever you stake push to create a channel, this token goes to a FIPO, and this FIPO is part and it's up to the push DAO to the push the community to decide how this FIPO is going to be allocated. In a sense that we can distribute this to the token holders of push. We can distribute this to wallets that integrate push. So it's a pool that all the push tokens stake to go to this pool, and as part of the DAO will decide how those tokens will be allocated, um, and to make the network more secure and to bring more people into the network. Even, for example, if you run the push node in a couple months, part of these people is going to go to the node providers, and it's up to the DAO to the community to decide how much fair and yeah to contribute. The community will have even more different ways and cool ways to be part of the push protocol.
Okay, very cool. Um, actually, I remembered one last question. So before I jump into actually trying to figure out how to build with push and you tell me everything I'm doing wrong, um, we've been talking a lot about kind of on the builder side. If I want to receive a notification, let's say I'm like on Aave or for example, how do I even subscribe to that?
Yeah, that's a good question. So there, as an end user, if I want to receive notification, for example, Aave, so there are two things that I have to do. So the first one, I have to give consent to receive notifications from the Aave protocol. So how do you do this as an end user? You go to the push dapp, and on push dapp we have, as I said, we have a concept of channels, and you're gonna see there an Aave channel. And next to the Aave channel, you're gonna see a button called opt-in. And just click there, you sign a message, and boom, so now you gave consent to the protocol to notify you. So this is the first step. I gave consent to the protocol to send me notifications about Aave. The second part is where do I receive those notifications? As of now, we have three different ways of how you can receive. The first one, me personally, that I use the most, we have a mobile app. You install the push mobile app, and then I start receiving push notifications whenever something happens. The second one, we have the push dapp inbox. So on the dapp itself, we have a section to receive the notifications there. The third one, we have a browser extension. You can simply download there and see all the extensions there. So it sits nicely next to MetaMask, so you just see your notifications there. Those are the three main ways. But for me, the beauty, that's something that I really like about push protocol is that it's an open network. Anyone can simply fetch the notification and display to their users. So how to do this? We have something called the front-end SDK. So you can simply integrate the front-end SDK. It's just a React component. And now you can display notifications to your users on your dapp. So your users don't need to leave your dapp to receive the notifications. Not only this, if you have, for example, a mobile app, we can call your webhook whenever there is a new notification. So you will call your API, say, hey, user 0xabc received this notification. We just make an API call. Then you take this API call, then you can send notification to your own mobile app. So since it's an open network, you can display notifications in any ways, in your own dApps, in your own mobile applications, in your own browser extension. But we have our own browser extension, we have our own mobile app, but just to make it easier for users to receive the notifications, since it's an open network, any protocol can display those notifications. And eventually the goal down the line is to integrate with wallets. So eventually you're going to receive notifications on wallets. And of course, it's a win situation for the end user because end user will receive notifications on an application they already have on their phone. So the user
Mhm.
experience is just amazing.
Yeah. Is that alpha? I don't know, 'cause, if you guys were here for our last Web3 Unleashed, it was MetaMask snaps, and I was like, "This
Yeah.
is the perfect kind of harmony between notifications on your wallet." That's my
yeah,
guess.
yeah, it does make a lot of sense for the end user. It's an amazing experience. Everyone
Mhm.
has MetaMask. Most of people have MetaMask mobile wallets on their phones. So at the
Yeah.
as an user, I'll have to install anything different. I'll keep my life as it is, and I just get notified to things that I want to. So it's a win-win situation for the protocol. They'll have a reach out to the end users, and now for the end user, they have to do nothing. They just receive notifications that they want to.
Yeah. Oh man, that's awesome. I'm literally getting like goosebumps right now because when I first used Push, it was that kind of entirely separate application workflow so that you can
Mm,
now that it's built in, it's
yeah,
really great. You know, anytime I hear like Web3 UX improving, I'm like, okay,
yeah,
this is like really what we need. Um,
yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, let's jump into the building portion. I think a lot of this is gonna be a little janky. Number 1, because you guys came out with a bunch of new stuff just, like, between the time that I first was playing around with Push to, I guess, a month and a half later. Um, but we'll be working through this together. I think part of it is also you guys are doing your V1.5 upgrade maintenance today. So things like creating a channel and I think like getting your notifications set up might be out of band for today, but it'll be
No,
done
it's
within.
yeah, totally. It's totally just creating a channel that's under my tennis. We are updating
Yeah.
the dapp, but I have a channel created already. So all the process I can send notifications and I can showcase different ways how to send and receive notifications. And I can skip the part of creating a channel. I can just talk briefly how to do this.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, okay, cool. I also have a channel already, set up.
Nice.
So, basically, what I wanted to demo today so if you've been on this journey with me throughout these episodes, we built an NFT rental marketplace together. I thought one of a great use case would be whenever your NFT rental expires, alternatively, if the owner of the rental decides to unlist that NFT and then refund you the money, you should get a notification that your NFT that you rented is no longer usable. So I'm going to try and build this into my dapp through the smart contract interaction. So in this case, we're not using the SDK or not going through the dapp to manually send. And so I'm going to share my screen. Um, and then Fabio, I guess you can sit in the corner, and then yell if anything goes wrong. So the first thing we're gonna start off with is just like our vanilla, unleashed marketplace, where we haven't changed any code. So I'm going to bring this down and get into, no, okay, let's see. CD demo. Okay, cool. Git clone. Hopefully everything will work. So let's open this up. Uh, nice. Okay. So essentially, just going over what the code was before, if you weren't here, we had this idea of the rental marketplace. So it had a few functions like listing it, renting it, and specifically the part we care about is unlisting it. And so, in order to implement the kind of push notification part, there's a few steps we need to take. The first part is creating a channel that users can subscribe to receive that notification. The second part is going to be actually adding in the push protocol communicator interface. So that is what allows us to actually call the push protocol to send the notification to our users. The interesting part here that we will also be diving into is our marketplace contract is going to be the one sending the notification. So part of this workflow is going to be doing something called adding a delegate to it in order to say, hey, this marketplace contract has permissions to be able to like notify everyone who subscribes to this notification. And the last piece is just going to show you guys how to modify our tests because now that we're pulling in a new contract that we aren't writing specifically in our code, we're going to be having to fork girly or mainnet so that we can fake having that contract locally. So that is our workflow. I'm going to go ahead and get started. If Fabio just sits there awkwardly for the entire duration of my demo, that means we did a great job. Um, so the first thing we did, like I said, was creating a channel. So in order to create a channel, Push has provided a really great UX or dapp dash. I don't know what to call this dashboard that allows us to do that. I think two things that I want to mention, or maybe questions for you, actually, Fabio, was the first thing was a channel. We can only have one channel per address. Is that correct?
Yeah, as of now, just one channel per address.
Right. So if you want multiple channels, you would have to go through multiple addresses. The other piece is if you read through the documentation, they'll often talk about your channel address. So your channel address is going to be the address of the wallet you deploy this channel to, right?
Yeah, correct.
Right. Okay, cool. So essentially, we can't do this right now because of our lovely um, change over into V1.5, but this is kind of what the UX looked like before. So as you can see, this was a new channel because it's a new wallet. And then this UI will change. I'm assuming then this die will become push token, right?
Yeah.
Um, and then it'll go through kind of the whole workflow. Unfortunately, I can't demo that, but that's fine. That means I have less room to mess up because I've already had this one. So this is the staging one. So this is specifically for girly. You guys have a mainnet one. Do you guys also have kind of a channel creation dashboard place for the multi-chain like Polygon and
Yeah,
stuff?
we do.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Nice. So that would be through a different, I guess, URL, but that's where we are at right now. So let's pretend, ha ha ha, we created this. Let's move forward. So the first thing that we need to do is actually create a new contract, and so this is going to be our push protocol or the communicator contract interface to allow us to start interacting with the code that we care about. So in order to do that, I'm going to go into Truffle. Let me make this bigger. Oh, second piece is I think, Fabio, you can see the chat in Restream. I don't have any ability to see the chat at all. So if someone asks a question and you think it's important, please like shout out and say like, Emily,
Okay.
someone's
Yeah, I'll
asking a
take a look
question.
on this
Yeah, yeah,
for
yeah,
you.
yeah. Thank you for doing that. So I think the first thing I need to do is actually install my dependencies. And then I guess while that's doing, okay, cool. I'm just gonna do this here. Create a contract. So let's create a contract. Let's call it I push com interface, and it should be here. And then we're going to copy this. So this is just code that came from your documentation. I'm assuming if we wanted to call other functions on this interface, we would just add to it. But the only thing we care about is send notification. So that's all there is to it. Let's go into Marketplace. So we're going to be using this, right? So we're going to have I push for use. Other things that we're going to do is, I don't know why this is being angry. I'm assuming we did download Open Zeppelin. I don't know. We'll find out. Was actually import this library from Open Zeppelin called strings. So I call this out specifically because when we are sending our notification, we have the ability to modify kind of the information we want to send, right? So there's a title, there's a body, you can concatenate multiple pieces of information. If you recall when I first was talking, there's kind of two ways that your NFT can be unlisted from the marketplace. Or, sorry, uh, a NFT can stop being used by you. And that's specifically either your NFT rental has expired. Alternatively, if the owner of the NFT decides to, like, I guess, remove the NFT from the marketplace. So I want to be able to like play around with variables and data and then put that into a string form. Solidity is really annoying because they don't have great ways of converting between types. You're going to have to do things like change it over to a hex string and other kind of really annoying things. Thankfully, Open Zeppelin, my third favorite project after Push Protocol, has some good utility functions to allow us to do that. So basically, here's my unlist function that we had written before. Before we start cleaning up the data, the thing we want to do is actually send that notification. So I'm going to copy over this code um, and talk a little bit through it. Actually, let's change this to list.owner equals message.sender. Okay, cool. So what this code is doing here specifically is setting up the body or the information we want to send to our users. Things we care about is it's just going to say your NFT rental is. Converting an address into a string is really dumb. This is actually a really complex function. Open Zeppelin will obfuscate all of that away from us. Changing this uint to a string is a little bit easier. Specifically here is we're going to do that check between is the marketplace contract unlisting it. So if you guys remember from like episode something, I don't remember, we automated unlisting NFTs via Gelato. So that is one way the marketplace address could be unlisting it just because it checks every night that, has something expired or not. So if that is true, this will be false because message.sender will be the marketplace address. But otherwise, if it is true, this means that the owner unlisted it. And it's going to tell us how much you were refunded because it was unlisted earlier than when your rental data was supposed to end. So that's the kind of, I guess, setting up the memory, the body part. This is going to be the heart of creating a, I guess, notification via push protocol. So, like we said, here is the address of the girly deployed push communication. I'm saying a lot of words that aren't in the correct order, but address that is going to be deployed. So to get that information, you would head over to the docs, and I don't remember where the docs are here. Somewhere, this link is somewhere. It'll be in the guide later, but essentially you can go to push contract addresses. The thing we care about here is gonna be the communicator because that's the one sending the information. This is where we got the, I guess, dapp, or sorry, the deployed address from. You click into it. It's a proxy address. If you guys remember from episode 3 of Web3 Unleashed, one of the ways that we are able to do these contract upgrades without having to basically restart everything is through upgrading and changing that implementation contract. So you can see right here, they're using the transparent upgradable proxy pattern. But anyways, that's not the important part. The important part is that we got this information from here and we copy pasted it here. The next piece right here is going to be changing what channel we are sending this from. So this is your channel address. For us specifically, like I said before, it's going to be the wallet that you deployed your contract address from. So I'm just going to copy this account and then put it here. And so that's where it's from. Who you send it to is the next, I guess, parameter. So in this case, it's from our listing user, and that's where it's sent. And the last piece is actually sending the body of the text. And so you guys have a few different things specifically right here to call out. We changed this to 3. So if you remember, Fabio was talking about the different types of notifications we sent, right? So there was broadcast, there was targeted or subset. In this specific case, we care about the targeted because we're sending it specifically to the user of that NFT. And then some more information, and then the little lovely string body that we created before. And so I think that's actually all we need to do to create the marketplace contract. So the next step is gonna be deploying this to Girly and adding that as a delegate to our channel to tell our channel, hey, this marketplace contract can actually use, I guess, send notifications. So to do that, we're gonna do a truffle migrate network. And in this case, we're gonna use truffle dashboard. I don't actually have it running, so I'm just gonna deploy it from our VS Code, but you can do all of this through our CLI if you've seen it before. Oh, our compilation failed. Whoops. Where is it? Listing dot owner. Okay, cool. Let's try this again. Deploy. Okay, so if we go to localhost 24012, we're in this view. I'm connected to Girly. So our first market contract that we're deploying is going to be a marketplace. So we're going to send this through here. And then we also have the ability to mint our own rentable NFTs. So there should be the second one being migrated over. I'm going to hit confirm. And it should have been finished after a bit. This might be a little slow. But the thing we care about here is going to be our marketplace contract. So essentially, we're going to take this information and then come back to our push dapp to add this as a delegate. So we're going to put that here, add delegate, and then hit confirm. And assuming everything works, now this marketplace contract should be able to send information based on or on behalf of that marketplace. Girly's going to take some time. I'm assuming that'll refresh later. But yeah, I think that's all there is to it. Now we can actually start playing around with working this. The first thing we want to do is actually, I want to make sure that everything is going to still run cleanly after adding all of this code, right? So specifically now, so if we run our test, right? So say we just brought up let me disconnect this and start over. Let's say we just brought up a random, I guess, instance of Girly. This is going to fail because, where is this? Oh, I actually have a Ganache instance running somewhere. I don't remember. Why is this working? Oh, this is working because I didn't even edit the test. Oh, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Um, okay, cool. Basically, let us essentially come through here. And this is going to get angry, essentially, because it's going to go through all of this and then find out, hey, actually, we don't have the marketplace, or sorry, the push communicator contract locally because we are just spinning up a fresh instance of a test chain that exists. So in order to do that, there's a few things that we need to change, right? So this is going to be just a big copy paste because it's easier for me to do that than to kind of replace everything one piece by piece. But the things I want to call out specifically that have changed is if you look here, we actually need to modify the information. So if I'm just deploying a vanilla instance of my marketplace every single time, that's going to fail because our channel does not recognize that address as a delegate, right? But if I find the marketplace address from here, so I can just do a truffle network. As you can see, this is on Girly. We deployed it here. Um, we can throw that in, and now that that's there, if we do a truffle test again, I think this should still fail because we haven't forked Girly, right? So exactly right here, there's no code at this address, right? So where did that exist? How do we get around this? We can do something called forking. So just to do that, there's a variety of ways you can do it. I'm gonna do it with forking Girly and then put it in detach mode. So this is new from Ganesh. It came out last month, I think. So it essentially allows us to run our test instance. Okay, I do have an instance of Girly running somewhere. Where is it? I don't know. I'm just gonna create a new one. Let's change this to port 9545. Okay, so this will run Ganesh in the background. So if you see, uh, oh, this is why it was, yeah. So if you see it here, we can find our Ganesh instance. But now we need to go to our truffle config. Um, and then let me undo that. And then now if I do a truffle test network girly dev, hopefully everything will be fine. No. Where is it? Okay, this is something weird is happening with our rentable NFT, but that doesn't matter. The part is our marketplace is actually running through. So specifically here in this test, we are calling that unlist portion of our marketplace, and it is working. So that is awesome. So our next piece is to actually let's try and do this for real. Um, so if you guys were with me before, in our scripts, we have just like a really fast way of running through the whole process of specifically listing an NFT, well, minting an NFT, listing it for rental, um, renting it, and then unlisting it. So we're going to expect that when we call this, there's not going to be any problems. It's going to call unlist, and we're going to get a notification. Um, in order to do this, we have some things to edit again. So like I said before, we're going to have to change these to specific addresses that we care about, not just a random one that was deployed. So let's get this here. And I hope this will also change. And where's the rentable NFT? Okay, cool. And then the next thing we want to do is the renter is going to be a person. So where's rent NFT? Here we go. So it's from user. And user, let's say, is going to be the second account right here. And that's going to change here. And I think hopefully all of this will work because this will cost real girly ETH. Not that girly ETH costs me money, but it costs me time. So to run through this, let's do a truffle exec script / run.js network, and we're going to use dashboard again so I don't have to show you all of this stuff. Okay, hit dashboard. And then if we go here, should be able to find it. So hit confirm. And so that was the first thing. We minted it. It's going to take some time. If you don't remember, in order to list it, we have to give the marketplace approval to do that because we're transferring ownership. So that's the approval portion. I think the next step is to actually rent it. Oh, this is going to fail. Actually, yeah, this is going to fail. Whoops. Because I am currently on one of my, what do you call it? I'm using, okay, so just to clarify, this actually hasn't been implemented in Dashboard yet, but I can't switch between wallet addresses. So I actually need to start over. Oh, sad, because rent NFT has to be called from this guy. So, oh, actually, I've been doing all of this through account too, so maybe this is fine. I did not realize I had money there. Maybe this will work out. Everything seems fine. The last piece is unlisting. The scariest part that we changed. Actually, did we finish this? What's this? Okay. NFT listed. Has this been done? This is pending. Unlist NFT. Okay, cool. Moment of truth, guys. Hit confirm. I'm just going to say it went through all of it. Yes, and it unlisted. So the expectation is, oh, actually, Fabio, this is a question for you. If I send this information, like I sent this notification, right? I forgot to do a step, which was go to channels, find the truffle thing. Oh, I actually did opt into it, so we're fine. But if I had not if I forgot the step of opting into the channel and say I later sent this notification, would I have like retroactive notifications or is it only new ones that come in?
Yeah, so if you, in case you haven't opted out, let's say in this scenario, you would get notification on your spam box. So if you click on the inbox on the dapp right above channels on the left, click there, and there is a spam folder there, and the notification would go there if you
Okay.
haven't opted into the channel.
I see. Okay. Cool. Dang it. I must have copy pasted something incorrectly because there's no notifications since I subscribed to it. My assumption is this should have worked. So let us try something. Hopefully this will be okay. I'm going to restart my Ganache instance.
Yeah, we can see if your address, the delegate part, the transaction worked. We can check because the UI said it worked, but it's an on-chain transaction. The add delegate, I think it was on your first account.
My first account. Oh, yes.
Yeah, let's see if that transaction worked.
Okay. This one.
Oh, yeah, it worked. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, so it's there.
So let me make sure. So I'm going to do something cool. I hope this works. I might have, maybe something was sent to the wrong user. So I'm going to do something. I'm going to stop this instance. Hash instances. Stop this guy. I'm actually just going to start it from here so I can do the, I'll just show you guys different ways to hash 9545. Let's really dev. Hit start. So I want to try and see if I can debug this. So the first thing I'm going to do is debug this transaction. Oh, I need the transaction hash. So I need to go back here, get the transaction hash, copy, debug this transaction. So we forked Girly with all the latest information. If I put this here, hopefully this will work. This takes some time. Actually, this might fail because I did not yet verify this contract on Etherscan. So we might have to do that too. This is going to take some time. So for those of you who knows what's happening right now, we're doing a truffle debug to hopefully be able to step through this unlist function and then make sure that all of my inputs were correct. And then, okay, nice, awesome, cool. So if everything is working, let's go here and hit play. I guess the part we care about is this guy. Hit play again. We got here. What do we care about? So listing.user. Okay, that's correct. The owner was this guy. I don't know why this isn't working. Fabio, do you have any clue what could have gone wrong?
Might be because it might be on the push side. Like just a guess, since we're doing the updating for like at this exact moment,
Mm,
updating the dapp and
yeah,
for the version 1.5, I will not be surprised
yeah,
something happened because we're doing the migration exactly right now.
yeah. Okay, cool. I agree with you because I mean, this worked before. I promise you, push is like fine. They're just
And
making
yeah,
really
and
awesome changes. Yeah,
for push side, I mean, you did everything. You imported the communicator, you added the delegate, and
yeah.
that's pretty much it.
Okay, cool. And then just to show you kind of how the debugger can go into that contract that we had seen before when we saw it on Etherscan. So it goes into the proxy, goes into the implementation contract, if you guys remember that. And eventually it should be able to get us to send notification. So the whole process is happening. There is probably something weird happening with the V1.5. But I think that's it. You didn't say that much, so I think this was successful.
Yeah,
Um,
all good.
yeah, this is really fun. Um, let's see what's next. Comments. Does anyone have any questions? Mr. Ryan Price said, every time I type truffle migrate, I get a surge of excitement and anxiety. I also agree. It's even worse when I do it live because everything always goes wrong. Actually, it has not gone wrong for the last 2 times, so maybe third time's the charm. But yeah, I think that's it. Fabio, do you have anything else you want to add? How do we learn more? Reach out, get involved with Push Protocol. Um,
Totally. Yeah, so the easiest way to learn how to integrate push, I would recommend going to docs.push.org, the documentation that Emily showed. To get involved with the push, we're super active on Discord. So if you just hop on Discord and ask questions there, myself and other core developers, we are always answering the questions. And I think it's also nice mentioning that we are hiring. So we're hiring a lot for front end, back end. Um, so yeah, so if anyone is interested, just send a message to us on Discord or send a message to Push Protocol on Twitter. And even if there is not an open position, I just recommend you guys applying and yeah, and we can yeah take it from there.
Yeah, awesome. And if they said they found out about it through episode 11 of Web3 Unleashed, are they gonna
Yeah.
get automatically sent to a final round? Yeah. No, you
Nice.
can say no. I approve of proper hiring practices.
Hmm.
Um, okay, cool. So that's, I guess, all we have. I know I always end with there's a lag between streaming and what's actually displayed. So I'm gonna give 5 seconds for questions and YouTube to catch up. And if not, I will let you go, Fabio, and we will see, I guess, everyone next week, which not next week, 2 weeks from now. We'll be having Nader Dabbit from Lens to talk about decentralized social and building with Truffle, which actually has a really strong tie, I think, with the push notification.
Oh
um,
yeah, we
interface.
have notification. We send notifications for our lens. So if someone, whenever someone likes your post, we send you a notification on push. So yeah, this integration between push and lens is currently live. So yeah, and that's a very nice integration.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, cool. Everything is perfect. Um, it's 1 p.m. here, EST. We're ending on time. So thank you so much, Fabio, for coming. Thank you guys for bearing with our multiple cancellations, but Jan 2023, let's go. I'm excited to see you guys grow. So yeah, thanks so much. Okay,
Thank you so much. Bye, everyone.
bye.